Welcome to the Put on Waivers Media Group, home of the Put on Raiders podcast and the Student Body Right podcast. This is your place for the best breakdowns and the best insight for those who fight on and bleed silver and black. Now, here are your hosts, Dwayne Douglas and Ryan Holmes.
Hey, welcome everybody to the glorious episode of the Student Body Right USC podcast. I'm your host, Dwayne Douglas, and as always, I am podcasting on the beautiful shores of the Pacific Ocean. Beautiful day out here in Southern California. POR SBR is my Twitter handle, so check me out there. USC did their thing on Friday night, beat up on Northwestern 38-17. Dominating performance, good job by them. Early on, still a lot of yards on the ground. We don't like to see that. It gives us nightmares as USC fans to see the other team go crazy on the ground. But they after halftime only gave up 3 points in the second half. Did a really good job, and this was a team that you expect USC to dominate, and they did. They are a well-coached team. They're a young team. Let's be. I mean, Northwestern doesn't have the bodies, the talent. They don't have those things that USC has. They don't have it. They don't have it. So they were able to stay in the game as long as they could. I thought there were some moments in that game where they could have maybe run the ball a little bit more, because that was what USC was kind of giving up in this game. I mean, USC, and we'll talk about it a little bit. Dan Lin, he just loves to play too high safety. He doesn't want to get beat over the top. And that's something where it's tough to see, but that's what that's what's going to be like. I mean, as far as long as he's the head coach, he's just going to try to bide time and not give up big plays. So until Lincoln Riley gets that offense churning, and once he gets that one stop to kind of push the lead to 2 scores, that's when USC is going to take a stranglehold on a game, and they'll be good to go. USC 7-2 now, only 1 loss in the conference, which is huge. And they have 2 huge games coming up here again. So they have to play a home game against Iowa, and then they go to, the team that has been dominating West Coast football on the field, and that's the Oregon Ducks. And the Oregon Ducks had a thrilling victory against the Iowa Hawkeyes on the road and bad weather and all things like that. But you got to give the Ducks credit. They won at Iowa and also won at Penn State when Penn State was healthy and had James Franklin. So they were good to go there. Jaden Mayava played solidly. I thought the first drive of the game, I think he had more completions in the first quarter than he had in the whole game last game. So that was something that you really need to see. You need to see Jaden come back. Jaden has been pretty good at home. Got a rushing touchdown where he kind of, bowled over some people in the end zone. So you like to see that as well. But, just got involved, got everybody involved, spread the ball around, got Lane involved, got Lemon involved, got the tight end involved as well. So it was really good to see, nice to see. He obviously, again, this is a recurring trend that we don't really love, is the fact that he is turning the ball over. And I think since the Illinois game, he has continuously turned the ball over at least once in every game since they play Illinois. So, as the season keeps going down to these, it's crazy to think about it at USC. I think USC only has 3 games left or something like that. So it's, you want to see him just take care of the football. During the broadcast, I thought that RG3, who I don't love doing games, but he was pretty good in this game, talked about 2 things. One was the fact that USC was a situation where they weren't chasing the big play. They took the plays that were there, and they made some really good plays. And they were able to complete methodically down the field and score. And that's what you really need to see them do, because early on in that ball game, Northwestern was not going to let them just go bombs away. But eventually, when you're playing Lincoln Riley and he has a lead, you have to take chances. And when they took chances in that game, that's when you saw Makai Lemon get loose for a big play. You get in the red zone, then you can throw a jump ball to to Jacoby Lane. Those things happen. You get the seam passes to the tight ends, like McCree. So like those are things that you really see open up as USC, starts to get stops and really starts to get going offensively. It's gonna be it becomes a really tough road for your team going against SC, especially SC at home. I think Jaden has been good, and especially in this building. And I think also too, I think they talked about it in a game, and this is his first season playing a full season, like where he's a quarterback full time. He didn't do that at UNLV. He didn't do it here at USC last year. So now you're seeing him be able to do it for a full season. And I think, at times, I think he might be, sometimes I feel like he's running out of gas a little bit through the bad pick, but was able to force the play, force the defensive lineman to fumble out of bounds. I'm not sure why the defensive lineman just didn't go out of bounds at the 1 yard line. But people want to be heroes. You don't want to be heroes in that situation. You want to make sure that you keep possession and give the ball to the offense. He didn't. Next thing you know, King Miller is running up the sideline for a huge day. So Jaden, I thought, was pretty sharp. Had some moments of accuracy issues, and we'll talk about that when we get to all 22. But he did struggle a little bit there. The running game got involved as well. You saw King Miller do his thing. He's just a big play waiting to happen. Once the counter is going, and then they're faking off the counter. I mean, there's so many different things that USC can do when the counter is going, even when it's not just on play action. They're able to get their ball, get everybody involved. So good job by Mayava. I thought the running game was pretty solid in this ball game. I thought they really kind of stuck to it a little bit. Their pass, they threw it 33 times, and then they passed 33 times. They ran it 29 times. So you have some balance from Lincoln Riley in this game, and we want to keep seeing that balance as we go forward, because that's what makes his offense really go. I mean, there is no coincidence that USC struggles when Jaden has to throw the ball 40 times. Like, yeah, I mean, I know people think of him as this mastermind offensive coordinator, Lincoln Riley, but it's predicated off of their running game. They need the running game to keep going, and the running game has been going pretty well this season. If you look at that, Miller had 127 yards. I think 18 carries, and then Mayava was 1 yard away from from 300 yards. We had another offensive lineman be downfield. It was going to be a sweet touchdown pass to Nook Hines, but they had to call back for a penalty. Do want to spend a little time on with the whole thing with Danton Lynn. I think the thing with Danton Lynn here is, I understand you don't want to make mistakes. I understand you want to play a certain way, but I do think that when you have these teams backed up, and some of these teams in the pack, and I almost said Pac-12, in the Big Ten, really are passing game challenged, if you will. Like Northwestern is passing game challenged. Michigan is passing game challenged. Like, I mean, like maybe next year with the off season, I think Michigan quarterback could be a more efficient passer. But right now, they're pass game challenged. Now now Iowa comes to Los Angeles, and they are passing game challenged, if you will. So with that being said, you want to make sure you want to see them when they're backed up, within the 20-yard line. I just want to see them just like be a little more aggressive on offense. Be a little more aggressive on offense. On defense. Go after the quarterback a little bit. Like, I mean, like giving up all these big runs. Like, why are we giving up all these big runs? For what? Like put everybody on the line of scrimmage. Put everybody on the line of scrimmage, and make them get out of that play and throw the football. Brennan Conley played a lot in this ball game. I understand. Like, we have some cornerbacks who they do have a tendency when the ball is in the air to just fall down. It's really just they end up on the ground and the being completion is frustrating. It's frustrating. I understand it, but like when you have people, there's ways to combat that, or give somebody help. But like end of the day, man, it's just like hard to see somebody dog walk the defense down the field, and then get points when you have them backed up, and you can just get we are. I think we're one of the teams that USC is one of the teams in college football that have the worst starting field position in all of college football, and it'd be nice to see them get some nice field position, some easy field position where they get the ball, in plus territory. That'd be kind of cool if they were able to do that. So that is really one of the most frustrating things that I see is that when it takes. I mean, it's the reason why USC leads one of the teams that lead the country in red zone turnovers. They force a lot of them because that's when they really kind of stiffen up. But let's stiffen up back there when you're in when the opponent's in negative territory, not always in positive territory as well. And it is like when you play too high safety so much as USC does, it's a little frustrating because then it'd be nice for once to see Kamari Ramsey make some plays. I mean that's why he stayed. You know what I mean? He wanted to make some plays and he wants to live on and wear that number 7. The same way Kalen Bullock did. Kalen Bullock made all these plays. He's making great plays for the Houston Texans right now. Shout out to Woody Marks, who had a great game today for the Texans, who had we're down 28-10, came back and won the game in the fourth quarter. But you want to see that. You want to say it's one thing we're missing is from this defense is seeing the impact of Kamari Ramsey. He's just really talented, really good player, and you want to see some more things from him going forward, if you will. Let's see what else we got here for the game. In the running game, we saw Riley Wormley get in a little bit in the blowout. Harry Dalton the third. You want to be able to it's clear that that King Miller is number one, right? So we all know King Miller's the number one back. We kind of need that to stay that way. We really need him to stay as number one back, and we need him upright. So the 18 carries, I'm good with them. Just sprinkling a little Brandon Jackson, sprinkling some other backs because you need that, especially if you get a blowout. Right now they're favored by 6.5 against Iowa. Iowa is probably one of the best defensive teams in football in college football right now. So they gave the Ducks everything they wanted. But as usual, the Landing has just been he knows how to win these games, and they were able to win that game. So we'll see what happens as far as that goes. But just kind of recapping the game. Like I said, I would love to see them do a little bit more defensively, but it is what it is. I think one thing that at least they kind of shut the door in the second half and did a really good job in the second half. Looking at this, only get 3 points in the second half, no points in the fourth quarter. No garbage time foolishness. We love to see that. We want to see Jaden just not turn the ball over. Just keep the game going. No fumbles. There was no fumbles by any Trojans in this game, so that was good. I'm not going to get into the whole controversial play that everybody keeps crying about the punter / wasn't the punter wearing the same number, whatever. Like it is what it is. It is what it is. Like people act like USC won the national championship on that play. It was kind of funny to see Connor Stallions pitch in with some some news and notes about that play. But that play was really much ado about nothing. I think USC still wins the game going away. They would have had to punt in that situation. I think the game was 14-14 when that happened, but I still didn't think that they were this was some big moment in the game where they had to have it. I personally didn't see that being a big deal. Whether they punted or didn't punt in that ball game. But let me see what else is here in the game. I think that was pretty much it. You don't want to give up that many yards per carry. I mean, they gave up 6.9 yards per carry in the game, but obviously their team is not. Obviously, Northwestern is not a juggernaut of an offensive team as far as passing the football goes. So that's the reason why, it was all good. Sam Hewitt made a nice play. obviously, with the pass to Nick Hines. I think that's pretty much it as far as the wrap up goes. Like I said, 7-2. Big games coming up. Big games coming up. Huge games coming up. So we're gonna see what happens in these next games, and they're playing two really good back to back defensive teams. And then when they do go to Oregon, Oregon plays on Friday, so Oregon does get a little extra day, and what the USC's job this week against Iowa is to get this team and this fan base to Oregon with 2 losses. That's it. Get to the Oregon game with 2 losses. Don't go there with 3. Go give us the hope that you can win that game and go to the playoff. This is the thing that I didn't want to happen because I wanted USC to be able to beat Illinois. If they beat Illinois, then we wouldn't even be having this conversation. They'd have 1 loss, and then you win 2 home games, one against Iowa, one against UCLA, then you're going home. But they put themselves in this position. They haven't won in Oregon in a long time, but they can't even look at that game yet. They have to beat Iowa first. We got to beat Iowa first. So it should be a fun game. Should be a fun atmosphere. It's homecoming out there. I'm going to do my best to try to make that game and give you a little insight about what's going on out there. But it should be, like I said, this is a good week. It's a big week. Don't look past this opponent. This opponent is a very good defensive team. This is a game where you want to see Jaden really hold on to the football. If Jaden can just hold on to the football in this game, it'll be magical. Because once you get to 20 points against Iowa, I think the game is pretty much a wrap as far as that goes. All right, Student Body Right, USC Podcast. We'll have your questions next show, and we'll preview the game against the Hawkeyes. Enjoy your Veterans Day. Take care, folks.